Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today I'm here finally to make the review of a Santini pen. This has delayed a little bit and now I'm very happy to do this review. So first, this is a pen that I bought directly from Santini, from their own store, and let's check. So what we have here is a black cardboard box with a stamped logo in gold color, and it says 1998, which is the year of foundation of Santini Italia. So Santini, it is an Italian brand. This package opens like this, very simple. It has instructions, it has a card saying grazie, which means thank you. The pen comes inside a sleeve like this, and then it has the international warranty. And before we go to the pen, it comes with this kind of thing, with a nib test where the pen is tested there at their office before sending me the pen. And finally we have the pen. Let's take it out and show it to you. I will put the box aside, and we have here the pen, which is called Santini or Santini Italia. Let's call it just Santini Libra, which is the model, and the color is olive. This color is beautiful. That's what I have to say. So let's start from the beginning. First, Santini is a brand that I noticed some time ago, and when I found that they had this color, I had to add this pen to my wish list for 2021. So when I make that video, maybe in December or January of one year, saying which are the pens that are in my wish list for the following year, or that year if it is made in January, this was one of the pens in that list. I would love to have that pen. I didn't think I would have it or not. I didn't think too much about it. I just knew I wanted to have one. So things went well enough so I could spend the money and buy the pen. This is an interesting pen that is made of resin. Santini is well known, I would say, for two main characteristics. One is for having very beautiful hard rubber pens. That's not the case. This is a resin pen. And they are also well known for making their own nibs. Now, this is a pen that is quite simple. It is available on their website. I will leave links. Let me just dim the light a little bit. I will leave a link below so you can go to their page and see it. This pen has this shape, and it is sold, the Libra Olive is sold with a gold trim. The process of ordering a pen is very simple. You can just order them on the store, or you can go to that little chat window that opens on the website and ask them questions. And so I did, and they even contact you to be sure that is the kind of nib you really want. So I contacted them and I asked them if it would be possible to have this pen with chrome trim or silver trim or whatever, silver color trim, instead of gold color. And they said, yes, sure, we'll just assemble the pen with other parts. So we need to have some days to do it. And they took maybe a week to make this particular pen. So it is very nice. So let's go through the parts of the pen and how it looks through the design. So the pen is mostly kind of cylindrical, although not perfectly cylindrical, because it is narrower here at the end and narrower at this end, and the most bulky place is here. But most of all, it is a cylindrical pen. If you look at it, that's what it looks. It doesn't seem that it tapers down in both ends. It ends in kind of a conical way on the top of the cap, the same thing on the piston knob. The pen has the nib that is the clip that is not in a ring, as it happens in some other brands. It is inserted on the cap, and it is a very stiff clip, but it can be stiff because it has this little wheel that allows the fabric of the pouch or the pocket or whatever you're using to slide below the clip, so it doesn't need to be very flexible. Then you have a cap band which has this kind of knurled pattern on both ends. Then it's funny because this knurled part is raised over the acrylic. The other central part is actually below the level of the acrylic, which is funny. It's not at the level, it's below, and this part is little raised. It has two engraved lines in black, and it says on that band Santini Italia. And fun thing, it says that Santini Italia in the opposite side of the clip. So it's like we don't need to market the pen too much. I think it's kind of nice. So the pen is like this. Here it is the piston knob. So this is a piston filler pen. Not my favorite kind of filling system, but I really like the pen and color and so on. This pen is a piston filler. I will not use it now because it is full of ink. One interesting thing about this pen is that the piston knob, when you're emptying the pen or putting the piston down, this doesn't move out. So it always stays at the same level, and you know that you reach the end of the piston because it makes this noise. I don't know if you can hear. I will put it next to the microphone so you can see, just rotating like this. It makes this noise and will alert you that it is done. About the capping, it has a cap that is screw cap, and it unscrews about a little less than one turn. The acrylic is beautiful, as you can see. It has a part that is much darker with these swirly things, and the other one is more plain but with lots of chatoyance, as you can see. You can rotate these can go in 3 different ways, but you can find one of the entries of the cap will align the kind of the lighter parts and the darker parts together, and even here you can just rotate these to have the more coherent look if you are in that kind of thing. I usually am not, but when I'm showing the pens on videos I tend to do this. So it unscrews in less than one turn, and here we have the section, which is fairly large and nice. The pen is quite thick, and then you have this beautiful nib. So let's talk about the nib. First, the Santini nib is a nib that is made in-house. They make their own nibs made of gold, so this is a nice touch. When I asked and they make flexible nibs, which is amazing, flexi and super flexi, but because I am myself, I went for a rigid nib. I don't want a flex nib. So I asked for a rigid nib, and they told me they would give me a rhodium plated nib, and it would be very stiff, so if I was aware of that. For me that was okay, and so it came. I've been using this pen exclusively. I used one other ink, which was Rohrer & Klingner Alt Gold Grün. It didn't work with this pen well because the ink flow was not that good. The ink is good in some other pens, that's life. Some pens work better with some inks and some pens work better with others. That's it. That's how things are. I got that rhodium coated nib, or rhodium plated, and I've been using it exclusively, except for that one first filling, with the KWZ Oscar, which is a specific ink special ink exclusive for Fontoplumo. The nib, I noticed it started flaking out the plating a little bit. I don't know if it was the ink. I contacted Santini. They told me they didn't know about, they didn't have any complaints so far, but of course they would exchange the nib for me. It is under the warranty, and definitely there was a problem because the plating was flaking out. They just asked me to remove the nib, so it unscrews the unit. I sent them and they sent me back. They asked me if I wanted a similar nib or if I would prefer, and I did, a white gold nib. White gold nibs are better in a way because they don't need to be plated. They are more silverish color. Of course, you can have a white gold that is not pure silver color. Sometimes they plate it with rhodium to be sure they are white enough or silver enough. But this is not the case. It is just a white gold nib, and I asked for it and they sent me that nib. For me it's better because no ink will ever corrode any plating because there is none. Usually the gold doesn't get corroded, so that's very nice. And even for them, they need to have a precious metal, which is the gold, and then to put an even more expensive metal for a coating, it's more expensive to do, so I think it's better for both sides. So I want to show you the nib. Here you can see the Santini nib has a very small breather hole. I would say it has a big S for Santini. Below it has 1998. It has some scroll work on the sides, and then it says 18 karat. But it's fun because usually the 18 karat is written like 18 CT in a European way, or 18K. Usually you don't see KT, which is fun. So I bought the pen. The pen cost me 270 euros. The nib replacement was for free, but that's another stuff. I went for the same fine rigid nib but white gold, and the pen would cost me 260, but I actually decided to spend 10 extra euros to get a ebonite feed, which I think it's very good for having a good ink flow. So this is the overall of the pen. Let's see some comparisons, I think. So we have here the Santini Libra Olive, and let's go for size comparisons first. And I want to compare it with, let's put it like this, I want to compare it with the Lamy Safari Savannah Green, the 2021 edition, and also with, where is it? The Parker Centennial du Fold Olive Check. So both are olive. Same kind of color, but you can see that some shadings are very different. So I think this material is also beautiful. It has those olive and gray. This is just olive, and this is, it looks very different when compared with that, because this is actually more yellow. They told me that this olive color is made of yellow and black, not quite the green. So you can see that the Santini is the biggest pen of all, and it is the thickest pen of all. I would say that the barrel is a little thicker than the cap of the Lamy Safari. When we uncap the pens, you can post it quite well, you can see. I think it's, for example, when we think of a Parker Centennial du Fold, you can post it, but it posts very high and it becomes very long and not that secure. You can post a Safari and it posts well, a little deeper, like this. And you can post this one and it posts really well, as you can see, the Santini. and you post, if you rotate the cap, it will not rotate the piston, which is nice. And you can see it is a large pen and it posts really nicely. So this is the size comparison. If we are going to use them as I do, this is the comparison of the three pens, uncapped and unposted. You can see the nib on the Santini. Let me just make some shadow here because of the light. Maybe it is a little too strong. Or maybe I can do like this. The nib on the Santini is a number 6 and the nib on the Lamy is much smaller. Let me show you closely the nib. So here it is. Now, some more comparisons. I will leave this here and I will leave the dufold here. And let's show you some other pens that are somehow related. First, for size comparison, I want to compare it with another well-known piston pen, which is the Montblanc 149. And you can see the Santini is about the same size as the Montblanc 149, but when you uncap it, the nib is smaller. But the pen is on the overall same size. And there is another big pen that I think it is kind of comparable somehow in style and in country of origin, which is the Visconti Homo sapiens, Bronze Age, and you can see also a very comparable pen in its dimensions, although very different in design. But it is very comparable pen. So the Santini is a large pen. It doesn't even fit completely here on the frame. Then I just want to show another big pen which has a nice material also. This is the Santini, the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande Sand, which is a beautiful, beautiful color. And the Leonardo, let me put like this to be sure it all fits on frame. In frame, the Leonardo is just a little bit longer, and then there is the Tibaldi Martini Olive, so also olive, that will come here, but it has some color shading more similar to the Parker Centennial Dufold Olive Check. And finally I have here the Caveco Collection Dark Olive, and you can see that the Caveco is also much darker. So this color is not comparable with any other colors that I have. It's really a nice olive color, but with a very warm yellowish feel to it. If we think about the other ones, they are really nice also. And finally, I just want to show you the resins of these pens more closely because all of them are amazing. Let me put Leonardo here because it's actually a gray sand color, and there you can see the colors and the chatoyance of every of these pens. So really, really, really nice. And now, if I have to tell you, I would say that this pen is very affordable for what it is, very affordable for an Italian designed pen, also a piston filler with gold nib made in-house. 270 euros for a piston filler gold nib pen made in Italy, and that has available flex nibs, and there are people that are crazy about flex nibs. I'm not. This is an amazing price. Just to show you one other one, because maybe it can be interesting, you have here a Pelican M800, and finally I just want to show you the other pen that I have with a white gold, which is this pilot costume with black stripes. It says there white WG, which means white gold, and I can see that this is more silverish than the Santini, because the white gold really varies in the amount of gold or other materials it has. Let me just show you to finish this comparison. Here you have white gold, and you can see it is slightly yellowish, but much less golden than the gold parts of the pelican nib, and much golder than the silver parts of the pelican nib. So this is not a perfect match for the trim, but I would say it is close enough, and to know this way it will be a trouble-free nib for me. That's amazing. So now let's go for the writing sample. And so here we have the pen and the paper, and let's see how this beautiful pen writes. So what we have here is okay, it's skipped because it was unkept for a long time while I was showing you the pen. This is the Santini Libra in olive with a fine white gold nib. The ink I am using is the KWZ Oscar for Fontoplumo, and the paper is the usual Rhodia dot pad. And so let's take a look at the writing of this pen. This pen writes really well with no skips, no hard starts. It did there because it was unkept while I was showing you the features of the pen and comparing it, but it doesn't really dry the nib. It's very, very, very well made. It has a little bit of feedback, but not much. We cannot compare with feedback of a Sailor pen, but it does have some feedback in a nice way. The line variation that you can see, it doesn't have line variation when you write in regular pressure. If you force it a little bit, you can have a little line variation, but not much. And we can understand that because it doesn't have to have line variation with a regular nib. This is a rigid nib. If you want line variation, you go to the flex or the super flex nib. If you want to check one of those nibs behaving well on paper, you can watch a video by ChrisRap52 where he makes a very nice review of his pen, and he bought the flex or the super flex in nibs or both, so you can really see how far you can push those flexi nibs, not this one. About the reverse writing, it doesn't perform very well and it is a little scratchy, so I don't think it's good. But about regular writing, this pen is amazing. That is why this pen is in the top list of pens for the first half of this year of 2021. Really is one of my favorite pens so far. About the wetness, I would say this pen is quite wet for a fine nib, so I would say this is very well behaved. And another additional thing I have to say is that this fine nib really is a fine nib. It's not a... Sometimes you look at fine nibs and think they are too broad. For example, a Pelican fine or a Parker fine are too often too broad. The fine on the Santini is really a fine pen, so it's really a nice pen, and I think this is all. Final thoughts about it. I think this pen, while not inexpensive, because an inexpensive pen is a pen of 20 or under 50 euros, this is a pen of 270, it is very affordable for and it is resin, not ebonite, so it's less expensive. But for a pen, Italian design, ebonite feed, and gold nib, it is an amazing pen. You have an excellent purchase experience. They are very nice. They have very good communication, and this is a brand. I even asked them if they. I asked them many time ago, not this year, much before. I asked them if they used to work with reviewers, if they sent pens as a loan for testing or anything like that, and they said they didn't because they want to have the real feedback of users. And so I bought this pen with my money. This is not, I'm not having any thing going my way for showing the pen, and I think this is really amazing. And if you ask me, should I buy this pen? If you like it and if you can afford it, yes, buy it. It's good. It's very, very, very good. I had a little trouble with the plating with my nib. Sometimes this stuff happens, and the brand dealt with it in the perfect way. They sent me a new nib. They even asked if I would prefer the white gold instead of the golden gold, but plated. So I think the experience is great. The experience in writing is great. I didn't talk about that, but writing with the pen posted, it really doesn't make it very top heavy, but I don't like to post it. It becomes heavier, not a lot top heavy. It's very comfortable. It's very wide. It's a big pen. It's really a nice big pen that I do enjoy writing with it. It's a very good pen. I'm really so again, if you like this brand, if you like the design, get it. And it's nice to support these smaller pen producers that make a lot of things by their own on the pen world, and they even do their own nibs. So I think this is an amazing thing, an amazing writing experience, comfortable purchase experience, perfect. Really, again, it is one of my top pens for this year, and I would risk to say it is one of my top pens ever, even if it is a piston filler, which is not my favorite kind of filling system. So this is all for this very long pen review. I hope you somehow enjoyed it, and I hope to meet you soon here on the channel. So see you soon. Bye.